Good morning from my hotel room at Chicago's O'Hare Airport, and seeing as I'm in Chicago, it makes perfect sense to try an airline that calls the city home and O'Hare Airport its largest hub. Of course, I'm flying with United Airlines today. I'm going to take a quick flight to Washington D.C. Before I show you around the aircraft though, as always, let's take a look inside the terminal building, and welcome to Blake Edgington Airborne. Let's get going. Today's flight begins at O'Hare's Terminal 1, which is dominated by home carrier United. As with my flights on Delta and American, United operate a self-service bag drop, which is simple to use, and I was soon luggage-free and excited to head airside. Sadly, my excitement quickly disappeared as I joined this insanely long security line. Now, the screen suggested a 20-minute queue, which seemed optimistic, and yes, I am exactly the sort of person who would be petty enough to time it. When I did eventually find myself airside, I have to say that I was very impressed with Terminal 1. I mean, how could you not be when there's a dinosaur inside an airport? And why is the dinosaur wearing an NFL jersey? Well, it's United's way of honouring the Chicago Bears' 100th anniversary, and you can also find team branding at the gate areas. Away from dinosaurs and bears, there is a lot more to like in Terminal 1, including the tunnel that links concourses B and C, which features a pretty cool neon light show as you walk beneath the aircraft taxiing above. Concourse C itself offers a decent range of places to eat before departure, and there's plenty of seating at the gates, as well as several locations to charge your electronic devices so you can take plenty of pictures of the aircraft outside. So that's my Chicago O'Hare Airport experience, and I really do like it. Probably because it reminds me of the Home Alone films, but still, it's not a bad airport at all. But now, let's head on board a flight to Washington. Much like American Airlines, who I reviewed just last week, United have been around for a long time and can trace their history back to the 1920s. Over the decades, United have grown into one of the world's largest airlines, today flying 158 million passengers per year to around 350 destinations worldwide. And with so many passengers, it's little surprise that United's fleet is huge, with a range of different aircraft to experience, including of course the Airbus A319. I'll show you around the aircraft in a moment, but firstly, how easy is it to book a flight with United? Well, very. United fly between Chicago and Washington frequently, with a range of departure times to either Dulles, Reagan, or even Baltimore, which for the record is not in Washington. Fares vary quite significantly, but a quick search offers direct flights from around $49. Back to my flight though, and this particular A319 carries up to 128 passengers, with economy in the standard 3-3 layout. The aircraft that I experienced didn't feature the latest Airbus cabin design, but offered everything you might need on a short flight, such as individual reading lights and air vents above each seat. Storage for cabin baggage is available in the overhead lockers or under the seat in front of you. Now, this plane was delivered new to United in 2001, and while it wasn't in bad condition, there was a little bit of wear and tear around the cabin. The toilets though were clean and tidy as you'd hope, although I wasn't too sure what to make of the patterns on the toilet door. The United in-flight magazine, Hemispheres, is where you can find a buy onboard menu if you're feeling particularly hungry, but bear in mind that all passengers receive light refreshments free of charge, and for me, as much as I enjoyed my Biscoff on American and Delta, United win the snack battle hands down with stroopwafels. I love them, and if you haven't ever tried one, well, frankly you haven't lived. We're about halfway into the flight now, so let's take this opportunity to look at the seat area on board the Airbus A319 with United. United offers seat selection during booking, and if like me you book an economy ticket, your seat will be found towards the rear of the aircraft. And the seat itself is one that I'm pretty familiar with from my European flights. Starting off as always at the top of the seat, this is where you'll find the United literature pocket, and in here you have the very important A319 safety card, together with the Hemispheres magazine that we looked at earlier, as well as information for connecting to the in-flight entertainment. We'll look at that soon. When you lower the tray table, you can see that the bottom of the literature pocket is exposed, so if you're not familiar with this type of seat, don't put any valuables in here. The tray table itself provides some adjustment and plenty of space for the complimentary refreshments, as well as somewhere to secure a drink. As you may have noticed earlier, this flight was pretty bumpy at times, so it's a useful feature to have. Storage at the seat is provided in the netted area near the bottom, which offered me just enough room for my trusty notebook. But of course my main focus of any economy seat is the legroom, and I was pleasantly surprised by the space available on this particular aircraft. If you've flown with United on the A319, make sure to share your thoughts on the seat with me in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Rather than a seatback TV screen, United offered a streaming service on this flight which enabled passengers to access entertainment via personal electronic devices. I accessed the service via the superb United app, and I was very impressed with the amount of detailed information provided about the journey. The streaming service features a great selection of TV shows as well as movies, and I was over the moon that I could watch one of my favourite films of all time. As well as their own entertainment, United offer Wi-Fi packages to purchase, which means that even at 30,000 feet, you can still watch my latest YouTube video or keep up to date with my travels by checking out my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. Just heard from the flight deck, we're making our final approach into Washington now, and it's a beautiful sunny day outside, so hopefully we get some good views. Make sure though to stick around till the end of the video for my final thoughts.
So, welcome to Washington after that flight of United. Now, of course, it's where I share with you my final thoughts on the trip. Starting off at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. And initially, I was pretty disappointed. The queues for security today were really long. It seemed to be stretching the entire length of the terminal. But in fairness to the staff, it did move very quickly. They did what they could. Through security, I was really impressed with the airport. I really did like the design of it. There were some great facilities there, so I do want to visit again in future. And the flight itself with United was very enjoyable, I must say. The cabin design, we'll start with that overall, and it's one I am very familiar with, particularly the seat design. You see it an awful lot on Airbus aircraft in Europe, and the legroom on the seat was very good. A special mention today has to go to the flight deck. The announcements that the captain made were really funny. He was really enjoying himself, it was quite clear to hear. And the cabin crew give them a mention as well. They were very professional and friendly throughout the flight. Now, the in-flight entertainment on board this particular aircraft was streamed to your device via Wi-Fi, and it was really impressive. There's a good selection of movies and TV shows to watch. But there was a downside to it, and that's the fact there was no device charging available at my seat, which meant it will drain your battery pretty quickly if you're on a longer flight, so do bear that in mind. Of course, as I've experienced on this trip in the USA, you do get a complimentary soft drink and snack, and they had Stroop waffles, which if you follow this channel you'll know I am very much a fan of from my flights with KLM, so that was really enjoyable. And overall, as I said before, the flight itself was really impressive, and I do hope to fly United again on a domestic flight in future. Thank you very much for watching until the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have done, please do leave a like by hitting that thumbs up button below. Any feedback is always appreciated, good or bad. I do read all the comments in the comments section. And of course, if you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you never miss a future upload. As always though, take care.